Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk One Piece chapter 873. Trapped like sweets in a cage. Oh boy, we're back in cages. Okay, so this chapter. Man, I really, jeez, man, I didn't expect the Big Mom pirates to be smart. I didn't expect them to be like moderately competent. I didn't want them to be moderately competent, but you know, like, good on Pero Spero. I mean, good on him for like realizing he could just divert the crazy Big Mom. You know, like, that's cool and all, but geez, man, it's just, it complicates the situation so much. Why can't we just have an easy escape? But no, now we have a giant Big Mom on top of the Straw Hat Pirates, and now she's fully in her mode. Jeez, man. You know, again, like, props for the Big Mom Pirates for like thinking about that and for having that really nice idea, but geez, you know, it's just it sets up the situation for like a completely different conclusion that we could get now, and it's just it just means more chapters in Whole Cake Island. But yeah, let's talk about the chapter a bit more closely. So the chapter is actually made up of it's pretty much just two parts actually. The first part is pretty much the Big Mom Pirates playing catch up. If you look at those first couple of pages, it's just the Big Mom Pirates telling each other what they know, giving us a better idea of the situation. Important factors that we learn in all of this are pretty much things like Streusen's down, so he can't cook, so it's removing him as being a solution, informing us that the Germa is being invaded, informing us of the different parties that have been established, and informing us of Big Mom's situation when she comes in with Opera. She took out his lifespan. So, you know, I'm happy that Big Mom took out some of her own people in the process, but it's still just that first bit of the chapter is really just establishing where the Big Mom Pirates are in this situation. Now, there's a few things in that first little bit of explanation that's worth noting, like the whole thing with Germa being invaded. I think it's foolish that they're going to be invading Germa, because they're invading Germa on their home ground. Germa's probably going to win because Big Mom isn't there. Like, and we know the Sweet Commanders aren't there. Germa is most likely going to win. That's like stepping into a minefield. Yeah, actually stepping into a minefield, because God knows what kind of technology Germa has in their castle. Like, who knows what they can do. So Germa 66 is probably going to be fine. And yeah, that's probably one of the more interesting parts of that first little bit of catch-up. Like, the next interesting part in that little bit of catch-up at the beginning, before Big Mom leaves to go pursue the Straw Hats, is just the whole scenario with Pero Spero pretty much coming up with the idea to just divert Big Mom. And then we find that Big Mom still threatening her kid, telling him, if you lied, I'm going to kill you. And it's like, well, great. At least there's still some level of finality here, as long as that cake isn't made. And then we go into the second half of the chapter, which is really marked with Pudding. It's the part where the solutions start coming together. So Pudding does a rather weird maneuver, and it's just like, this just sets up, in terms of a narrative, it just makes things complicated, because now Pudding is specifically involving one of the people running away, Chiffon. She's involving Chiffon, and it's just a question of like, why have all the characters? If you look at the causality here, like, there must be other characters who excel at different suites in the Big Mom thing, and then she's calling Chiffon. It's specifically because we're going in for a particular narrative. Now, you know, the whole thing with Pudding, I really don't know. I don't know what she's thinking, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised, because the Chiffon maneuver does one thing for sure. It absolutely guarantees Chiffon's safety, even if Pudding ends up doing something like threatening her child. But the point here is that Pudding needs to get to Chiffon, apparently, so that threat has to be carried. So eventually Pudding's gonna get to the space where Chiffon's at, if we want that narrative to unfold, the narrative of the chocolate chiffon cake. And, you know, again, it just guarantees Chiffon's safety. So at this point, it's a question of, you know, if the Fire Tank Pirates manage to get away, then great. You know, the plot's thwarted. What can they do? Big Mom Pirates got screwed over. If they don't get away and Pudding shows up, well, now the Fire Tanks Pirates, their lives are kind of guaranteed, because Pudding's there and then then we'll find out whether or not Pudding wants to be evil or if she's gonna pull one over on the Big Mom Pirates and escape with the Fire Tank Pirates. It's just a lot of complex things going on now, and I just, it's not saying bad of the chapter. This is just more of an issue of this could have just been easily resolved and we could have been out of here pretty quickly, but now we're going into this situation with Big Mom approaching on the Straw Hat Pirates, and actually that was like the last little bit of the chapter where we see King Bomb and he's with his girl Tree and they're all running away, and that's all cool and everything, and Big Mom shows up out of nowhere, and it's just now that Big Mom wants a wedding cake. Is Sanji capable of making a cake that easily? No, not really, because he's not at his kitchen. But could Sanji tell Big Mom, hey, I can make that cake relatively quickly? Well, probably Big Mom won't wait. So now we're just going to be caught in a bit of a skirmish with Big Mom. And we already kind of know where this might end up going. The question is, are we going to get a gag-based solution to this problem that is Big Mom approaching right now? That's the big question, and we could get a gag-based solution. Who knows? It's just like, this is it's a convoluted situation. It's a convoluted situation overall. Like, there's a lot of really interesting parts going in the chapter, especially with Pudding's weird maneuver of revenge on Sanji for calling her pretty. But it's just we don't know. Like, Pudding has no idea what she's doing. She has no idea what's going on in her heart. Big Mom has no idea what she's doing because she's crazy. And then the Big Mom Pirates are pretty much screwed whichever way, because as we saw, Bero's going to be killed if Pudding can't make the cake. But because this is One Piece, there's only so many things that can go with the narrative. So we'll have to see. And this is the next big part, is that next week we have a break. And unfortunately, after that break, we have a chapter. But that chapter is coming in when Shonen Jump as a magazine as a whole has a break. So we're gonna have to wait 2 weeks for the next chapter, and then another 2 weeks after that. We'll have to skip 2 weeks. Yeah, we have 2 weeks of no One Piece coming up relatively soon. So, it just makes this chapter, which just seems very slow and very convoluted, feel even worse. At least in my opinion. It's only my opinion. But anyway, overall, like, this is a good chapter of One Piece. Like, really, if in terms of technicality, we waste a lot of time at the beginning part, because the beginning part is largely just us finding out or being reacquainted with the situation. Like, did we need all that information? Some of it. It's unfortunate that a lot of it's just us getting speculation from the Big Mom Pirates. Like, a good page was spent dedicated to wondering about how they blew things up and if it was the Straw Hats or not. A good page was spent just telling us things that the readers already knew, but that the Big Mom Pirates didn't know, and Peckham's coming in and telling us that the Fishman Pirates are out of there. It's, yeah. It's a slow chapter of One Piece. That's what it is. But overall, yeah. There's some parts of it that really will be will look better once we have the payoffs for whatever's being set up. I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks guys for watching, and yeah, till next time. Hope you have a great day.